Welcome back, horror fans. Today we are breaking down a collection of terrifying, real-life encounters from a place you visit almost every week, but will never look at the same way again. Welcome to 5 True Walmart Horror Stories. Let's jump straight into the darkness. Our first story comes from a woman who worked a standard office job and loved to cook fresh meals every night. Right on her way home, there was a local Walmart where she regularly stopped for quick ingredients. One afternoon, a friendly bald employee with a dark beard in the produce section struck up a conversation with her. Over the next couple of weeks, this became a routine. He was always nice, but his questions gradually became unsettlingly personal, probing into where she worked and exactly where she lived. Things took a dark turn when he abruptly cornered her and asked for her number. When she politely declined, his entire body language shifted into pure offense, and he stormed off. Shaken, she finished her shopping and walked out to the far end of the parking lot, only to notice the man sitting in a car nearby. As she pulled out, his car trailed hers, mimicking every single turn all the way to her apartment complex. Realizing he was stalking her, she bravely drove in circles, waited for the perfect gap in heavy rush hour traffic, and pulled a dangerous merge to cut him off and escape. Fuming, she drove straight back to the Walmart customer service counter to report the stalker. When the managers called up the produce team, they delivered a chilling revelation. Nobody of that description had ever worked there. The man had simply bought a blue Walmart vest online to blend in and hunt for victims. The second encounter takes place late on a quiet weeknight in the fitness and toy aisles. A shopper was browsing near the back corner of the store when she overheard a strange man's voice talking to a little girl in the next aisle over. The man said, whispering, "I will buy you this toy if you come with me. Your mom said it's okay." Instantly sensing a kidnapping in progress, the shopper walked over to intervene. She found a man in a black jacket and a winter hat leading the child away by her hand. Acting fast, the shopper picked up a stuffed animal, stepped in front of them, and asked the man if it was a good gift for her niece. When she directly asked if the little girl was his daughter, the man panicked, claimed he was just watching her, and quickly hurried away. Moments later, a frantic mother's voice echoed through the store, calling out for her daughter, Sarah. The shopper sprinted to the mother, told her what happened, and together they raced to the front self-checkout lanes. They caught the predator right at the register, attempting to buy the toy to keep the child compliant. The mother screamed, exposing him to the crowd, and though the man sprinted out the doors into the night, the little girl was saved and police located the criminal shortly after. Our third story goes back to the days of the 24-hour Walmarts around 2014. A retail worker got off an exhausting shift at 3 in the morning and stopped by an empty store to grab a late-night snack. Standing completely alone in the quiet grocery section, he suddenly got the overwhelming sensation of being watched. Looking down to the far end of the aisle, he saw a tall, skinny guy in a black Adidas sweatshirt staring dead at him, completely frozen. Hoping it was just an odd coincidence, the shopper moved to the next aisle, but within 10 seconds, the expressionless face crept around the corner again. Everywhere the shopper walked, from the back corner to the main walkways, the silent figure trailed his exact footsteps. Unnerved, the shopper grabbed a bag of trail mix and rushed to the only open cashier, alerting her about the stalker. The creepy man faded into the clothing racks across from the registers, and the shopper quickly checked out, scanning the area to make sure the coast was clear. He made it out to his car in the empty parking lot, but right as he cranked the engine, he looked up in frozen terror. The skinny man was sprinting at full speed from the store entrance, charging straight for his driver's side door like a demonic predator. The shopper slammed the car into drive and peeled out of the space just seconds before the attacker could reach the door, watching the man continue to chase his car all the way to the street. The fourth story highlights how dangerous a predator's persistence can be. A young woman was shopping at nighttime when a gray-haired man introduced himself out of nowhere. Feeling extremely creeped out, she cut the conversation short and walked away to the self-checkout area. To her horror, the man followed her across the entire length of the store, stood right next to her register, and aggressively insisted on paying for her items. When she firmly told him no, he left the store empty-handed. But when she walked outside, he was waiting by the exit doors, awkwardly inviting her straight to his house. She walked away fast, got to her car, and successfully drove home. Believing it was just a one-time encounter, she continued using the same store. A month later, she was grocery shopping at 8 in the evening when she locked eyes with the exact same gray-haired creep. Terrified, she immediately abandoned her cart, crossed to the far opposite end of the quiet department, and tried to hide behind the aisles. But as she peeked through the shelves, she saw the man slowly tracking her down, closing the distance from afar. Realizing she would be cornered at the registers, she dropped everything, bolted out the exit doors, and sped home, completely abandoning that location for good. Our final story comes from a former overnight stalker who worked the 11 p.m. closing shifts. He was working completely alone in the pet supply aisle at 11:30, listening to music on his headphones, when he saw a shadow dart past out of the corner of his eye. Moments later, a stranger appeared at the end of the aisle, ducking away the second the employee looked up. The stalker took out his headphones and radioed his manager that an unauthorized intruder was hiding in the building after hours. An hour later, the employee walked into the massive, dark backroom warehouse to move stock, completely isolated from the rest of the crew. Suddenly, he spotted the intruder crouching behind a cardboard box underneath a heavy industrial shelf. Trying not to cause a panic, the employee turned around to walk away quietly, but he instantly heard heavy footsteps rushing up from 30 feet behind him. The stalker bolted into a full sprint toward the sales floor doors, hearing the attacker chasing him down until he burst through the exit. He grabbed another overnight worker, and together they armed themselves and went back to search the warehouse. Just as they opened the backroom doors, they heard the heavy slam of the emergency exit. They rushed to the scene just in time to see the shadow escaping out into the pitch-black night. The intruder had successfully evaded security, hiding in the dark corners for hours, just waiting to hunt the employees. These chilling encounters prove that crime can strike in the most mundane, brightly lit places when you least expect it. If these true stories sent a shiver down your spine, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more dark storytelling commentaries, and always remember to watch your surroundings. Stay safe out there, and see you in the next video.